Well, I say every day it's a getting closer to taking a bath with my fucking toaster.
We're not qualified.
Explorers in the further regions of experience.
I understand. Did you not listen?
Then the hell with you.
Greetings, salutations, and welcome to the 156th episode of Screaming Into the Void. My name is Samuel the Infamous, and joining me today we have Caucasian Sasquatch.
What?
Hello.
What'd I do?
Say hi.
Hi.
There we go. And we also have Abe.
How do?
And coming in fresh off of the... I don't know. I got nothing. I was going somewhere with that, and I lost it midway. Whatever. Anyway, say hi, Shadow.
Hi, Shadow.
Good job.
That works. That works.
Yep.
All right, folks. So we have some stuff to talk about today. We do. We have a couple of a regular member and a semi-regular member of the cast who probably won't show up today on account of both of them being jet lagged, on account of both of them being recent world travelers. So, which is kind of unfortunate because some of the stuff I'd really like their input on, but it is what it is. So if they show up, great. If not, well, we'll see them next week.
They shall be cursed from the highest mountain.
Indeed.
It is what it is.
Before we get into it, we were going to say hello to the chat. And remember, folks, we are live both on Rumble, Twix, and YouTube. And I say both, but I mean 3 places. And I actually mean 4 places because it's not just Samuel the Infamous YouTube channel. We're also live on Caucasian Sasquatch YouTube channel.
What?
Not talking about you specifically, just your and all that. And also, if you feel so inclined to support either myself or Caucasian Sasquatch, you can find the Cash App links up pinned at the top. Please and thank you.
How about now?
All right. That said, we say hello to the chat. If you are in any of those places, please do drop a comment so that we know that you're here. We have Here I Am. Yes, there you are. Welcome in. Scotty Waddles, good to see you, brother. We've got JB with us. Hello. This Smoking Auditor. Good to see you, man. We have Zillage. I got to make sure to say your name like a bunch of times, like I'm summoning Candyman, so I don't forget that I've already fucking greeted you or that I haven't. Because this has been like a real problem lately with me, and I do apologize.
It's like you've got Zillage blindness.
It's so weird. I mean, it's almost like if I can't see him in a dark room unless he smiles.
Hope he's not eating dark chocolate.
He's gonna laugh at that joke, by the way. Beak in the chat. Hello. Old Blindy, welcome in. We have Ariel Ballet. Good to see. What? So I'm hearing we're talking about delicious, yummy cannibalism. I mean, it might come up. I don't know. You never know.
Maybe.
It could happen.
I give it a 50-50 shot.
Right.
Yeah.
See Leah. Is it Lee or Leah?
Leah.
I can never tell.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know. I've never seen her. I assume it's a chick. Fuck, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
So, but that spelling can have multiple pronunciations. That's why I asked. But anyway, welcome in. Glad you're here.
Let me try it this way. Welcome to the world of Sasquatch.
Okay, it's Leah. Okay, I'll try to remember that. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. So it has been kind of a wild week, and we're going to talk about some of the shit that's happened in it. First and foremost, and I got to bring up the thing, so I got to find the thing here real quick. But found it. Also, I apologize for any ambient music that's coming through. My fucking neighbor is blasting his shit despite the fact that we have thin walls, and he knows we have thin walls, and I think he's trying to piss me off right now because he's a fucking cocksucker, and I hope he hears it.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Sam,
yo,
it's not your fault.
oh, I know it's not my fault. But what happens
It's not your fault.
what happens after might be.
It's not your fault.
So anyway, very first thing that happened just the other day, September 4th. So this would have been 2 days ago, 1 year to the day that she disappeared off social media. And if you've been following this channel for a while, you know I've been asking a few questions about this shit because it is the whole thing smacks of like all kinds of wrong. Lauren has returned to social media.
But why?
Because she can, apparently, finally.
Yeah.
You know, so y'all might remember what happened with Tenet Media last year, about a year ago, actually.
Right? Yeah, dude. I tried to hook up or get a Captain Curmudgeon. I think he did actually send in a resume to Tenet Media, and then it vanished.
And it vanished because it was under. Well, it was named in an investigation by the DOJ. It was never like if you actually read through the thing. They weren't actually going after Tenet, but they named it a bunch of times, and there was a whole bunch of shit, probably things that weren't in the report that were leveraged against Tenet and its owners, who are Lauren Chen and her husband, Liam Donovan, who were also involved with, they had guys like Benny Johnson and Tim Pool and a bunch of other people working through Tenet Media. And the whole thing was basically that there was an investor, an overseas investor, who funneled a bunch of money to them. And that investor turned out to be Russian, right? Or at least that was the claim. There was something else about a couple of other people who were involved who claimed to be French, but also were Russian. And that's what the actual indictment was about those two individuals, which was really weird because neither one of them were in America at the time.
So on those two individuals and this is what I've heard. I don't have any actual documentation, but from what I've seen in Tim Pool's videos on the topic with the recent information and actual Justice Warriors videos on the topic.
Hey, Bush.
The claim was, hey, Bush. The claim was those two individuals were the intermediary between the Russian financer, the handler, and Tenet. Yeah. Now, how true that is, if these two individuals even existed, we don't know, because from what this was from, I believe it was Tim's video on his new channel when he decided to talk about this after Lauren's video dropped, was that the government basically, right before the election, they launched this case against Tenet. They did a smear job of a bunch of people. Come December, Tim and his lawyers had all this information ready to give to the government, and the government said, we're actually not pursuing this. And then after that, in April, they seemed to stop pursuing Lauren Chen for anything. And from both of them have shared, there was never any evidence. It was all just, well, we think you might be, so we're just going to bring the long dong of the law down on your face.
Right.
And the process was the punishment in this case. The process was enough to dissolve the actual company. So they didn't have to move on anything. The problem was solved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
people get destroyed through this kind of law. They call it lawfare, don't they?
Yeah, and that's kind of what she talks about here. Like, you see all the tiny text and stuff. That's her statement about what happened and all that. And in it, she details, like, you know, the things that went on, like the fact that all of their financial assets were seized, including personal assets. Their work visas were denied, so they've been forced to relocate back to Canada. Right, which essentially kicked them out of the country. You know, and of course, you know how fucking difficult it is to deal with the Canadian government right now, especially considering that they're dealing with lawfare from the Canadian government as well, because of course they are. You know?
Of course.
And all that stuff. Meanwhile, you got, you know, all these other guys going off you know, and they're still doing just fine. I mean, Tim Pool's still spouting off top of his fucking head, loud as ever, right? You know, and the few statements that they actually did put out about this, they didn't say much, and I assume some of that was because they were advised by their lawyers not to say anything about what happened with, you know, Chen and Donovan and Tennant, but they really didn't cover much of anything. They didn't really say anything. They never took a stance one way or the other. And in Tim Pool's case, that's not fucking unusual. That's kind of his whole thing. But you know,
Yeah,
it's just the whole thing was, and yeah. I think somebody mentioned in chat that it was considered like Russian election interference or some shit like that because they were, you know, Russian oligarch throwing a bunch of money at an American company to push talking points that the Russia was in favor of, kind of shit. Yo,
I was in a debate one night. I was present at a debate one night on YouTube, and some guy was talking about the election interference that took place that was bona fide and could actually be considered election interference was advertisement space that was paid for on Pokemon Go.
mm-hmm.
Is this true?
I don't know, man. Pokemon Go is one of those like weird little anomalous things. I know a bunch of people almost died crossing the street playing that fucking game. I almost killed one of them.
I remember reading something. In regards to Pokemon Go, I don't know how true this was, but I remember reading a while back, like during the early days of the Ukraine war, that apparently, I don't remember which side it was, but one side had paid Pokemon Go to put a Pokemon Center near the battlefront. And apparently then they just dialed in their artillery on that position, waited a tick, and then as they saw a bunch of gym battles happening or whatever it was, hit that position with artillery strikes. I don't know how true that was, but if it is true, Pokemon Go is fucking weird.
I mean,
okay, we can all agree it's weird.
Not be surprised.
The fact that Hillary Clinton brought it up, you know, in her campaign in 2016, you know, like I just... yeah, it's the whole thing is kind of weird and shady. I don't know too much about that though. Sasquatch it hasn't come across my desk.
Can I hypotheticalize for a second here? Just on the premise, let's assume all bets are off. Full on, some Russian dude decided he was going to interfere, like twirling a mustache, dark eye glasses, dastardly Dan type guy, right? He's over here doing the villain thing. I'm going to interfere with the elections. Pokemon Go. That was his decision?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. It's not a very twirly mustache kind of thing to do, really, is it?
Nah.
I've seen it break up marriages. That's pretty diabolical.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Different kind of diabolical, though.
I mean,
Oh, sorry, Sam.
Well, it's like the whole thing, like people would be crossing the streets and not looking because they'd be, you know, tracking a Pokemon or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. I don't play this stupid game.
Basically, that
one of my brother's current wives, right, wasn't married to him yet, hadn't met him yet, but she lived in the same small town I did at the time. I'm the one who introduced him.
Current wives? Does he have a harem?
Stop.
I said one of my brother's current wives. I have multiple brothers, and some of them have been married more than once.
Okay.
Anyway, she was crossing the street playing this fucking game and didn't look up, and I nearly killed her because she was crossing like right in front of me, just walked right out in front of me, and I'm doing like 30 and a 25. It was not good. It's not good. Luckily, I didn't hit her, and she ended up marrying my brother and all that stuff. But whatever, it's not a good game. Anyway, Shadow, go ahead.
What I was gonna say was in regards to the diabolical, like what's really diabolical about this and the claim of election interference. Let's say, for instance, that this was 100% true. That there is a Russian oligarch who worked through two Russian nationals that lived in France and managed to get to Tenet Media, and then they used that to influence content creators in the U.S. to affect the election. Why aren't they rounding up people like Hassan Piker or Ethan Klein or? And I know the real reason, but this is just a hypothetical experiment to get people thinking about this, because Hassan is effectively given his father's connections and the Young Turks connections to careful.
Yeah, no. When you say is or has, say allegedly.
Okay.
Quite often.
Allegedly, they alleged connection they have. Excuse me. The alleged connections they have. Well, Tenet didn't even have alleged connections. There was no one even talking about this, and there is alleged connections between the likes of Hassan Piker, with the Turkish government, with Ethan Klein and the Israeli government. I'm blanking on the name of this other dude, but there's another guy who has direct money trail to Al Jazeera, which is connected to Qatar, allegedly.
Tucker
So,
Carlson.
no,
I'm sorry.
I wouldn't be surprised. Not him, but I would not be surprised. I absolutely wouldn't. But my general point being is, if this whole kerfuffle is, oh well, we want to stop a foreign entity from affecting our elections, the fact that they're not being round up makes this whole thing bullshit. It was clearly lawfare trying to discredit the conservatives. That's all this was. And I mean, granted, we already knew this, but this to me is just a layer that I didn't really see a lot of people talking about, because no one really thinks about it in that vector. At least I haven't noticed anyone talking about that, which is what I wanted to bring out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here's the thing: is there are foreign actors who are influencing things. This is a fact. As to which foreign actors and what their specific agendas are, I'm not going to get too deep into that. But there are foreign actors. Like, people talk about this. Like, the big thing in this case was Russia, because prior time that Trump was running for office, that was the big thing then, right? Russiagate. He was bought by the oligarchs. He was pushing Russian propaganda. He was a Russian asset. That was the allegations thrown his way. And they never really let go of that. And so, like, the next time he was running around, they brought that Russia shit right back up, despite the time that the first time it was completely fucking debunked. And that's why they went after Lawrence. And you keep in mind, since the Russia-Ukraine war began, right? Since then, America has done a bunch of things. And when I say America, I mean America as a whole. I don't mean necessarily the government, although the government has some hand in this. But I mean, like, American companies, right? That sort of thing are, like, there's been, it's not exactly like a media blackout so much as it is a censoring, right, of all things Russian, and so anytime Russia comes up, people who are in charge of these places, who tend to be on the side of Ukraine, or tend to be on the side of, like, whoever's paying their fucking bills or whatever, they will come out and they'll be like, oh, Russia bad, right? Anything connected to Russia's got to be bad, right? So even if there is something to the oligarch accusation with Tenet, right? Even if there is something to that, which I don't know, it's entirely possible. It is possible, but that doesn't necessarily mean that Donovan and Chen knew about that either. It could have been just like, oh, hey, there's this guy who likes our stuff and he's helping to fund our stuff, right? But they were already doing. If you go back and you watch Chen's content, right, she has changed her position on a couple of things over the years, but she has gotten more and more and more right wing as she goes along, right? But it's been a very gradual process. It hasn't been like a sudden, oh, somebody's paying me, so I got to say this thing now, right? It's been her opinion. She's changed with the times as she's seen fit. So if you go back and you watch all of that stuff, the way that she behaves, by the time they get around to accusing her of taking Russian money to push Russian talking points, these are points she was already pushing well before Tenet was a thing. Right? I do disagree slightly, Sam, on the idea that it might be true. I think it's completely untrue. I think there's absolutely, because if there was even the shred, like, even if it was a case of they didn't know, if there was a money trail that they could use to just completely and absolutely destroy the credibility, like, I imagine they would have pulled that thread, even if it, like, comes out later.
If you can have a thread and not pull it, that renders that individual an asset.
Yeah. I think the problem is we're never going to really know for sure. Like, we've got Chen's statement here, her side of the story, and that's great that we have more information from her. But on the other hand, like, the DOJ stuff, they haven't said a fucking word. Not for a long time, right? Not publicly or whatever. Now, according to her statement, they did get cleared in April by the DOJ, which was a couple months after Trump took office and all that stuff. in terms of like wrongdoing. They were cleared of wrongdoing. However, as is happened so often with the government, they didn't receive so much as a how do you do, let alone restoration of any assets that were seized unlawfully, or
that we're not. All right, let's just skip over the assets that may or may not have been seized, whatever may have happened there. That's immaterial beside the brand and content creator damage that these people have taken. Sure. Take Matt Christensen. Hell, if I had to guess, he was probably bringing down $12,000 a month before he joined Tenet Media. By joining Tenet Media, he lost probably 90% of that. It would have been like orbiting inside the brand rather than being actual cash that came to him. And I'm just guessing. I'm guessing at numbers. I've watched the guy for years. So like I've seen his popularity rise and fall and all of that. 12 grand a month would be my guess. I might be a little high, but benefit of the doubt type thing. That being said, you can't recoup that damage. There is now an entire left-wing segment, half the population, who believe that you are a Russian asset and will no longer do anything with you, and will actively go out of their way to sabotage you because they know the truth and no one else has figured it out.
Right. Yeah, and that's true too. I mean, if they wanted to sue the U.S. government for damages and potential earnings damages, I mean, a potential payout of a win, although the likelihood of a win is pretty low, but the potential payout of a win is kind of staggering. I for one, I know I've been kind of keeping my language a little bit neutral here, right? On this, I'm gonna come right out and say I'm actually glad to hear from Lauren, because I was actually concerned that they might have been black bagged, right?
Yeah.
It's
always worrying when you don't hear from someone for fucking ages,
right? And you keep
especially when they were so prominent.
At the time when it happened, she was 4 months pregnant and had a fucking 1-year-old kid. Right. And so I was, I'm a little concerned, I don't like it when people fuck with kids, mess with kids and all that stuff. But I also like Chen. I like Liam Donovan. He hasn't been like on air for quite some time, not since she was doing, I forget what the name of the show was she was running. But he used to do kind of like a co-host thing with her a little bit. He's been her producer for years. And all that stuff. So he's kind of camera shy. He doesn't really like the camera and all that stuff. But when he was on camera, I rather enjoyed his takes and whatnot. Seemed like a decent dude. I'm happy that they're not dead. I'm happy that they're in a place now where they can fucking talk about this shit and maybe start to rebuild. Because it wasn't just Tenet that got taken down, right? Immediately, everything out there except X for some fucking reason dropped her accounts. Like nuked all of her accounts. She had 2 YouTube channels aside from media that were hers, also gone. All the content on them gone. One of them was just her and her dad reviewing movies.
Yeah.
Right. And
totally innocuous content.
Right. And I think she might still be on Rumble too, but she hadn't put out anything because, obviously her lawyer advised her against it and she was scared to fucking death. So she didn't say anything for a long fucking time. And her account was still up on X and all that stuff. So I, for one, am glad to see her come back. I hope she gets right back on that fucking horse as soon as she can. I really do. And I hope she takes these motherfuckers to task over it.
Yeah.
So, now she had been getting into some stuff right before all this happened that I don't necessarily agree with. Right. I mean, aside from the Jesus angle on everything, I'm not really a Jesus guy, but, she had started to, whether intentionally or not, kind of cultivate a Groyper-like audience, which was a little concerning. Not so much that she had her opinions. Yeah. It's just that those people are fuckheads and retards.
I mean, she is an Asian woman. That is kind of the white supremacist's favorite kind of woman. So it's not surprising that there was a Groyper
she's
audience.
Half white too, so she's like, they don't really like the whole race mixing thing.
His guitar good. I think that's a plus in her book or in her docket.
But that said, and she was very, very critical of Israel, which I don't have an issue with because I think Israel is not great. As far as I could tell, she never said anything overtly about, like all Jews everywhere. She was just talking about Israel, and she was talking about it in a political and military sense, not so much as in the average civilian or whatever.
Yeah.
Which, I can get on board with. The problem is anytime you mention Israel, there's a whole subset of the internet that
everything
goes,
gets
fuck
conflated.
the Jews, it's all the Jews' fault, fuck them all, right? That's gonna get clipped.
Clip it.
Yeah, we've got Shadow on the panel,
right? Right? But it's and that's subjectively untrue, right? It's silly to think so, and it's silly for these guys. But these were the kind of guys who are starting to get drawn more and more to her live chats and to her comment sections and that sort of thing. And that was a little concerning just because, you get to a point where there's so goddamn many of them. They pop up like goddamn cockroaches and they breed like rabbits. And that you couldn't get to any like serious, discussion or even like casual discussion of anything that didn't immediately go to, well, shut up, you Jew cuck.
Yeah.
I told you. I said that to you once, Sam. Come on, man. Don't be so butthurt over that.
I mean,
I mean, if you sit in the chair.
What if it just happens to be a very comfortable chair?
Yeah, I didn't even know they were in the room, man.
Chair. Sir, you made your decision.
Wait, Squatch, if they sit in the cuck jacuzzi, is that acceptable?
Ew.
It's.
I mean, it depends.
There's no good answer here.
It's getting scrumped on because I mean, like, if it's not, then that's not a cuck jacuzzi. It's just a normal jacuzzi. I don't know why you're trespassing on these people's property.
No, it's in the a buddy of mine, for whatever reason, his Instagram is cursed, and it showed him an Instagram channel that is just like a dude rating cuck chairs, and there were some fucking wild ones, like a shower in the bedroom or a freaking business table, like one of those chairs for a board meeting next to the bed, so you have like a collection of people. Fucking wild shit.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like where this is going, Sam.
Fucking people, man.
That's the problem.
Literally.
It's fucking people.
Yeah.
People fucking. Either way. It's all so degenerate.
Anywho,
you happen to have some numbers there, bud?
No, not off the top of my head.
Okay.
So, she also put out a Give Send Go link in case anybody wants to help them out because they are broke as fuck and stuck in Canada. It is what it is. I mean,
well, it could be worse. She could be stuck in the UK.
Right. In here's the thing is I don't think her story is all that unique. I just think that, she's high profile enough that we noticed.
100%.
Yeah.
Is that just barely high profile enough? Do you reckon that they usually do this thing before they get that big, or was it the generation of Tenet Media that triggered it? Because that was 3.3 million subscribers across all 12, 14 platforms,
something like that. But her name was known, right?
I think honestly, she was in a target of opportunity where she wasn't a complete nobody. She wasn't someone small, so people would have to notice. But this wasn't like hitting a Tim Pool or a Ben Shapiro or a Crowder, where they're high profile enough to where that will actually send ripples and people will notice. This was someone who was in the sweet spot of we see what's happening, but not big enough to where you've created a martyr.
Right.
That would be my bet.
Well, and that was the thing too. Is there are ways to avoid creating a martyr and still get what you want done, right? So what happened? What did they do? Right? They didn't destroy her publicly. They put out a quiet little statement about a quiet little indictment that only named her company. It didn't actually name her and her husband, I think, specifically. It named her company, right? It wasn't even about that company. It was but the company was mentioned in conjunction with the people that it was about, who they also didn't name conveniently in that thing. And they let social media do what social media does. Right. They let the court of public opinion do what it does. It took her down overnight. They were also under a gag order, at least initially, from the DOJ. So they couldn't say anything to defend themselves, even if they want to. And it was just silence. It was crickets for a fucking year.
When you're in that kind of position, you know, it's like being thrown in a tank of piranhas.
Right. All they had to do was shut her up, man. Like if they had made a big public spectacle and everybody was like, holy shit, what the fuck, right? Things probably would not have gone the same way. I mean, it probably would have gone worse for Chen and her family. But in terms of like, nobody was talking about it. Nobody was talking about it. Like 2 weeks after the event happened, 2 weeks after like Reuters and the AP and all of the big news outlets put out this thing about, oh my God, Tenet's accused of being, you know, in collusion with Russia.
Crickets.
Silence. Nobody on the right was talking about it. Nobody on the left was talking about it. Nobody in the center was talking about it. Nobody who was actually involved said anything either. It was just gone. Crickets. Like nothing happened. Like they were never there.
Yeah.
And I found that suspicious. But
I mean,
it apparently wasn't. Sorry.
There's so much wrong with that scenario, though. When you get down to the brass tacks of it, there's obviously things, moving components taking place out of sight that we are not privy to, and those components wield enough power to unperson an entire media group.
Mm-hmm. And not just unperson, like, you know, like just like wipe them from the records. Right? Like they were never there. Anybody who goes to look isn't going to find anything, except you're going to find articles around that specific time period, right? All of which suspiciously say the same thing in nearly precisely the same wording across the fucking board, and then nothing. Right? And I don't know. It bothered me. It got under my skin. It kind of ate at me for a while. And obviously there wasn't much I could do about it because there wasn't any information to be had. You know, dug around a little bit here and there and couldn't find fuck all. You know, but then again, I'm not an investigative journalist either. I take things as they come and all that stuff. But it struck me as really, really odd that nobody else was talking about this. You know, at all.
Generate clicks.
Well, like nobody on the right was doing it either. It would have generated clicks for them. Like, what the fuck happened to Lawrence Chen? Like, why did Biden's DOJ go off like this?
Hold on, let me chew on this shadow for a second. You're telling me that a series of significant content creators across various streaming spaces and news platforms, various personalities of varying levels of notoriety or infamy and fame, wouldn't generate clicks and views if you could say something other than allegedly? We still can't say anything but allegedly.
If it was actually legit, then anything other than allegedly. But they had their little media period where they talked about it for the first couple of weeks, and then it went silent because there was nothing more to add about it. Same thing happened with Peanut the squirrel, where you can only talk about a squirrel being killed by a corrupt police department for so many weeks, and then you stop talking about it and people stop caring. Like, look at Retardy Oswald. People were talking about that, and then people were talking about that. People were talking like revolution's going to happen, blah, 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 blah. And then 2-3 weeks later, we're on to talking about the Kardashians again, or whatever the news cycle shifted to. And we haven't talked about that.
What we're effectively saying is that Lauren Chen, squirrels, and assassins, no difference.
In the eyes of the American public, pretty much, yeah.
I mean, in a certain light, I guess she looks a little bit like a squirrel.
The squirrel got way more time than everything else combined.
Yeah, the squirrel was Harambe Part 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Squirrel, and there was a raccoon involved, and later a few other animals that didn't get nearly the notoriety of the squirrel.
Yeah. But
you know what used to happen back in the day, back before the whole super-powered federale government started happening?
Yeah, we should tar and feather the sons of bitches.
What I'm getting at is, say, take the squirrel, for instance. You know why they couldn't have the squirrel? Because you're not allowed to have wild animals as pets in some places.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that this man had already had this squirrel for a number of years, implies that maybe it's safe for him to do it, not everyone else. And what used to happen is the city would go, oh, okay, well, then we'll give a permit. $1,500 a year, you get to keep a fucking squirrel.
Yeah.
You know, and that would be the end of the conversation. But nowadays, it's a fucking SWAT raid. What the actual fuck? It's a squirrel. Yeah. Did you think the man was going to break out with his fully automatic raccoons and just go to town on you? That is absurd.
I'm just saying, if the squirrel was going to give the dude rabies, it would have happened already.
Or fucking what's the other one? Listeria, or that the one that rats always carried, not plague, but yeah, that's a good one. That's a real good one, dude. If you were going to catch hantavirus from that thing, it would have already happened. Inhale all the fucking droppings you want, man. There's no hemorrhagic fever going to jump on you unless you're in the desert Southwest.
Yeah. Well, and that was the thing too, is like with the squirrel and his raccoon buddy, right? The owners, weren't they technically running a kind of wildlife preserve?
No, they had permits and shit.
They actually were. Yes, full on.
Yeah. It was all legal. It was all documented. I think the squirrel had just had some kind of vet visit.
Yeah, no, it was not legal. There are aspects of this that were not legal that allowed the government to come in and do this in the first place. The amount of force that was used in it is retarded.
That was disproportionate.
These people are running a wildlife rehabilitation center so that deer and whatnot that get hit by freaking cars can get little time to run around before they get turned back loose out there to be eaten by coyotes or shot by some freaking cockstrong hunter or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But squirrels are not really on that list of animals that are permitted to be done that way. You can't really have one. Neither's a raccoon. They're more of a pest animal. Most squirrels in America are what, gray squirrels?
Gray squirrels and red squirrels, but mostly grays, yeah.
Right, and they're not indigenous, and you're sort of a kill on sight type thing, like pigs, right? Wild pigs, you can literally just waylay them. You can go get a permit to use fully automatic weapons to kill pigs and helicopters from your vehicle.
God bless America.
But sure, but I'm just saying the idea that it requires that level of force. Just give the man a fucking permit. Make a permit. Make it permissible by fine. Right? Say just like getting your fishing license. I mean, damn.
Yeah, just another example of government fucking sticking their goddamn nose where it doesn't belong in the fucking first place. I mean, the legalities of it. The reason that legality even comes into it is because some guy somewhere along the way in the bureaucracy thought that he could turn a fucking profit by making something either legal or illegal. That's how this shit works. In a lot of cases, like obviously there are some big laws that you should all agree to and abide by, like maybe don't slaughter each other, but a lot of these little things, these permits, is all this stuff. All that is more control. It's more power for somebody who's not you.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's all that government needs to take action is the width of power. The idea that they can execute some form of power. The government will swing in and do it at the first possible opportunity. And it is rare, and I don't know why this is. It is rare for the government to show up to quote unquote help, and it actually help. I'm not saying hashtag not always. Welcome in, D3. Yeah. Sometimes it helps, but let's take these last two hurricanes that come diddy bopping through Georgia and Florida and look at the difference in response, right? Cool. In Georgia, 90 some odd % of the recovery was locally sourced, locally managed. We did this shit ourselves. It wasn't until 3 or 4 weeks later that FEMA stuff started like showing up, and it didn't come anywhere near here. That shit was all going to North Carolina and stuff. And from what I understand, those people weren't getting it either. But keep in mind, we had people trapped in freaking buildings here for 2 or 3 days after that hurricane blew through. And I still have not seen an actual FEMA representative of any type. So I have yet to see a case in which the government showed up to help and it helped anyone.
They like helping illegal immigrants. Like, because wasn't the reason why there was no
haven't
money
seen that though. That's kept nice and quiet and in the background. What's up, Clue?
Well, I don't know if it was necessarily hidden in the background, but I remember during the Archcast FEMA stream where they were talking about it. One of the major points of contention, because it was on the books that money had been moved from the FEMA disaster fund towards resettling illegal immigrants deeper into the United States. Like that was just a thing that could be easily found by a Google search. The debate on that stream ended up being more about, was that a purview of FEMA to do? And then you basically had a Canadian and then an American government worker arguing about
like that
the legality
premise.
of doing.
I say we take a grip on that, because the only way it is in FEMA's purview to do is if they agree that this is an emergency on a federal level, at which point in time we can deploy the National Guards to deal with it.
Well, that's why the Canadian was getting mocked the entire time. It was Dev, as in short fat otaku. If anyone has heard of that name, he was getting absolutely destroyed in that debate, and he just kept refusing to take the L. It was hilarious. It's down on YouTube. You can find it on Rumble.
I'm just saying, if you're going to put the federal emergency management in charge of it, then it must be an emergency first, right? Right? And if it's a federal emergency, then that falls under the purview of the President of the United States, which allows him to use the National Guard to deal with it. Right? I mean, call me out the second I get this wrong.
The part that you're getting wrong is the government actually caring to show any signs of standards or internal consistency.
Right. I mean, this is the same management agency that basically said, don't approach houses with Trump signs, allegedly. Their actual DEI hires on the ground were just told to skip them. Allegedly. Anti, welcome in, brother. That's a participation trophy. Welcome in, my friend.
Right. So, sorry about that. I was having a little bit of an issue there. Things were cutting in and out, so I'm just nodding and smiling. I mean, I hope whatever you said was something that I would actually agree to.
Squatch and I were both agreeing to Abe's assessment that maybe the United States should put its entire annual budget towards Israel's defense. That's what we were arguing or discussing, and we were all fully on board.
Oh, well, in that case, you can all go fuck yourselves.
Yeah, I don't really remember saying that. Yeah.
I'm
no.
You know what? I'm gonna make this very, very clear. Israel can defend itself however it fucking likes, but it can also do it without my fucking country's weapons and money and support.
I have something of an opinion, but it's completely secular and has nothing to do with politics, just pragmatism. I don't mind helping out Israel, largely because it forces all of the fighting to occur over there instead of over here. It gives them an easy target to take shots at that, isn't here.
I think it's like the Batman thing, man. Honestly. I think it's like the Batman thing.
Because of Israel, there is this Muslim attempt to dominate the Near East.
I mean, it gives them something to focus on other than killing each other, which is what they would devolve into if they didn't have a single common enemy.
And we have to remember a little thing called the Persian Empire. Sometimes they don't.
Well, the Persian
Empire weren't Muslim, first of all.
They were I'm saying they're the same people when it comes down to it.
No,
they're really not.
They're not actually.
Arabs and Persians
are absolutely
two different fucking genotypes.
Yeah. Don't say that to an Iranian.
They also would kill you for saying that.
Holy shit.
They weren't even the same religion. Yeah, no, the Persian Empire was run by Zoroastrians, which is a super fucking pagan.
I
I
mean, we are
remember
being
reading
pedantic and murdering the spirit of what he's trying to say, but yeah.
Genetically speaking, it's the same batch of people in the same empirical area, right? An
Also,
empire
not
involved
really.
all of those people, all of them.
Also, not really. The Persians and
Oh
Arabs
my
are the same.
God!
The
I'm
Romans
getting
and the
some
Russians are the
glasses
same.
so I can say actually.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong though in this case.
I
Persians
know.
are
not-
genetically distinct from
He's not
Arabs.
wrong, but this could also become a very, very uncomfortable conversation.
Right.
Yes, I'm
My
trying
main
to stay
point-
away from the discomfort. Stop being uncomfortable. Quit it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. My point is that like even if you take like sure, Persia might be a problem, Iran might be a problem, right? That's certainly possible. But when you look at the rest of the Middle East, like you look at your the Shiites and the Sunnis alone, the two biggest factions in Islam, right? Hate each other's guts.
Yeah.
They always have.
And even within those, they have issues that are typically derived from political things. Like the Islamic world has not been united since the Shias decided to go, hey, maybe we should stick with Ali, and the Sunnis went, now let's have a vote. And then what happened at Karbala? And then you have, due to again the political issues and the distance between each other and the separations by geographical factors, with all the different religions and the different sects and political organizations. Like look at the freaking Mujahideen Helk, which is basically just a bunch of socialists who only exist because they don't like the way that Khomeini was trying to push Islam in Persia. Without an external threat like Israel or America, they're more like, I mean, they might be a united front for a decade or two, but they're more likely to start killing each other over immediate political differences. Like if you
For
look
a
at Shia,
moment.
Yeah.
For a moment.
What was your point,
A powerful
Sasquatch?
leader steps forward and does the thing. True? False? I mean, caliphates had existed off and on for centuries, right?
Sure.
Correct.
In
These
various
are generally
locations.
put together through charismatic spiritual leaders of some stripe or another that are always on some form of war footing with somebody somewhere all the time. Right?
I mean, yeah, you could say that, like, but you're talking about peoples who are not Arabs, right? You're talking about the Ottomans, for example, the Turks, also not Arabs, right? Or
Kurds.
the Persians, not Arabs. You know, like they might use the religious aspect to gain political power, but it was mostly about political power.
That's the issue I have. I don't care what they believe, what they worship. They worship a rock for all I give a fuck out in the desert, a big black one. If that's what they choose to do, that's fine. As long as it's not like a death to America flag flying over every single town.
Well, that's kind of what I'm getting at, man. Like, because right now everybody's focused on Palestine, which is Hamas run, right? And Hamas's stated goal is the destruction of Israel and the West, specifically the U.S. That's their whole purpose for existing, is all of that. Problem is Hamas came from the Palestinian people, obviously with Iranian backing, but they came from the Palestinian people initially, right? They're Palestinian born and bred. It's part of the reason that the Palestinians keep fucking voting these assholes into power. If you think about the history of, even the recent history of Palestine in countries other than Gaza or Israel, right? Nobody wants those fuckers around, because as soon as they don't have a single focused enemy, they would just start blowing shit up because they can, right? Egypt has 5 fucking walls between them and Gaza. Lebanon won't take them in. Jordan won't take them in. Fucking Saudi Arabia is saying, stay the fuck out. You know, I mean, these guys are not welcome anywhere.
Yeah.
And for good fucking reason, because they will pick a fight with whoever's closest.
Yeah.
Right now, it's Israel.
And I am of the opinion that we leave Israel right there, give them just enough backup to let them be the lightning rod of discontent of the region, and let that happen. It's nothing off my back if some people get pissy about some stuff over there. I don't care.
Right.
So long as it's not here.
They already have a lot of the hardware and technology they would need to wage a conflict. The main problem they have is manpower. Like the only ones that are really breeding in a sufficient quantity to maintain a total war economy, which they would really need to do if the US wasn't there to glass their enemies. The only people doing that are the I'm blanking on their name, but it's the really, really, really conservative Orthodox ones, the ones that are like backing Netanyahu really hard. The majority of them are exempt from, are the only population exempt from military service in the IDF because of religious reasons, and they're the only ones really having a large enough population that would be able to maintain a state of constant conflict that would follow if the U.S. was disengaged. That is not an argument saying the U.S. should stick around. That is simply stating that if Israel were to have to operate by itself, it just doesn't have the manpower to wage a conflict like it would have to.
Do you know what's really ironic about that as well? Is that within Israel, do you know what the largest group pushing for war against the rest of the Middle East is? The one exempt from military duty.
Yeah.
What a shock.
That checks out.
If you've been paying attention to the war in Ukraine, I mean, it's the exact same thing. The people that are most wanting to fight are the ones who know they would never actually have to put on a helmet, pick up a rifle, and go die in the mud. Yeah. It's the NAFOs, it's the disabled, it's the fucking politicians. I'm gonna get a bit sexist here. It's also the women. Like it's the people who would never have to be affected.
The disabled thing is a bit. I'm gonna be the actually guy here. The disabled thing is a bit of a misnomer. You guys remember last year when they were putting fucking helmets on Down syndrome kids and putting them out on the front fucking line?
Well, I didn't mean Ukrainians. I meant foreigners, like people in America, Canada, or the UK, who were like, "We need to go fight for Israel. Would you do it?" Well, you know, I'm actually I'm neurodivergent and a minor, and I have a broken hand, and I have asthma. Those are the kinds of people I'm talking about.
And full-blown AIDS.
Right. Now, if I had my preference, I should also be clear about this. If I had my preference, nobody would be killing anybody because inevitably kids end up getting killed. And I don't care whose kids they are. Kids should not be getting killed for anybody's fucking ideology. I think that's fucking retarded and it's evil and it should stop worldwide. However, since it is happening and since we seem to have absolutely no ability to stop it because both sides in both cases seem dead set on continuing the goddamn conflict for whatever fucking reasons. And they've got plenty of foreign backers saying the same goddamn thing. Oh, you must fight. You must fight. I just think we should wash our hands of all of it. Fuck them all.
So I have an observation. Before the war, there were a lot of Russians in Ukraine. Whole bunch.
Yeah.
Like half the population or something like that.
Well, seeing as how it was the beginning of Russia, you know.
I wonder what happened to them boys.
A bunch of them got killed, a bunch of them expatriated back to Russia, and some of them are in areas that are now occupied by Russia.
And do you reckon there's some of them might not be hillsides with lovely green vegetation growing over it?
Oh, I'm sure quite a few of them are, yeah.
But you know, it's complicated.
It's not complicated. It's straight up murder, man.
No, because the eastern part of Ukraine was ethnically Russian, spoke Russian, wanted independence, and wanted to join the Russian Federation.
Yeah.
The Ukrainian government, due to Western interference in, I think it was the 2014 election. Okay, so we did actively interfere in that election to create a pro-EU government in Ukraine because initially the pro-Kremlin one won, but then they forced another election. The Russians weren't too happy. And the people who wanted to leave and go to Russia, quite a lot did, but also there were a lot of people that were left behind in the eastern regions. They are Russians. Yeah. They have Ukrainian passports, but they are Russians. And they were mistreated by the Ukrainian government. Not necessarily by the Ukrainian people, because, you know, they're brothers and sisters and cousins and they're family. You know, it's all part of the old Soviet family. People would move freely between the entire Soviet Union. So the predication for Russia's actions, I obviously don't condone, because it's fucking war and people are going to die, and there's better ways of resolving conflicts. But it is complicated. It's not as simple as, you know, Vladimir Putin just got bored one day and thought, oh, fuck it, let's invade a neighbor.
I 100% agree with that, man. I don't think the thing that social media, for example, gets wrong constantly is that if you are against one, you are for the other. In any given scenario, if you don't stand for this, then you obviously stand for its equal and opposite, right? That is incorrect. That is an incorrect way of looking at things. You can be against two things at the same time. You can be for two things at the same time. It's completely stupid. And in my personal opinion, while I'm not look, I'm not a fan of Putin. The guy's KGB. No such thing as ex-KGB. They do not exist. Once KGB, always KGB. That's a problem for me because the KGB has been and always will be the sworn enemies of my country. Right? Not Russia, but the KGB.
Yep.
Right? So yeah, I have some problem with Putin. I also have a problem with Zelensky. I think he's been getting people killed needlessly because, well, at first, political points. At first, it was getting him what he wanted. At first, he was making a fucking load of money off of it. At first. Right now, I'm convinced that he's only interested in prolonging this fucking war because he's got plenty of money at this point, plenty of my money. Right? Is because the second it's over, the Ukrainian people are going to do to him what the Italians did to Mussolini.
Yeah. Give it enough time.
He fucking knows it. And it's not going to matter if he runs to France and gets asylum there. It's not going to matter if he goes to Florida. They will fucking find him. And if you know anything about, Eastern Europe and Slavic justice, he is not in for a fun time.
No.
See, I'm personally more of the opinion he'll get the Saddam Hussein treatment. The U.S. will clean up their proxy.
I disagree. I think that they're absolutely going to allow the Ukrainians to take it out on him. Wherever in the world.
That would fall under the U.S. takes care of its proxy.
I just want to quote Captain Kirk here, right? I don't believe in a no-win scenario. But it's an incomplete scenario, right? Because the opposite could also be true, and that could still be your position. Nobody has to win. Nobody has to lose. It's the very basis of compromise.
I think it's more along the lines of the longer this war goes on, the more people lose. Just period.
Yes.
There's no winning. There never was a winning.
No.
I actually heavily disagree with the idea of there's no winning. Russia will win. Russia will win no matter what. The level of win is what's at debate. But what's the goal of Ukraine? The goal of Ukraine is to not lose any of its territory. What is the goal of Russia? The goal of Russia is to secure Ukrainian territory.
Little brother, I do believe the goal of Ukraine may have changed a little bit in the process of this war, because at this point, the discussion is no longer whether or not they will cede territory, but how much they will cede.
Exactly
now,
my point. And when
Ukraine has lost.
Now
that's my point. Ukraine has.
Now the discussion is whether or not Ukraine will continue to exist at all, or if something else be placed in place.
Exactly my point. Every day that the war continues on, that's another meter of Ukraine that goes to Russia. The longer the war goes on, that's one less Ukrainian man alive to help rebuild and repopulate Ukraine after the war is done. They've already lost 1.7 million people, and that's what men from the fighting. That's what Ukraine is willing to admit. That's not counting the number of men who are dying on the beds right now. That's not accounting the missing in actions who are actually KIA. That's not accounting the people who have fled to Europe and America and are never coming back. Meanwhile, what's Russia losing? It's losing people who from what I understand, this may not be correct, were not necessarily part of the job market, may have been net negatives on the job market. They have instilled a sense of pride in their population, and they are gaining useful territory that they can develop to create new job opportunities.
Not just useful territory, but also they're different brigades that are deploying to the front line and then pulling back. They're all gaining on the ground legitimate military experience.
Yeah,
that is more valuable to a mega nation like
the ones who survive. Yeah.
Well, let's just address this thing by Zillage here. I mean, the Ukrainians are a unique people. They're not just Russians who live in the borderlands, as Russian propaganda would like to tell you. Okay? But Ukraine did give up its nuclear weapons on the condition that it would not move towards the West and that it would not attempt to join NATO. it breached those conditions.
Agreed.
To be fair, also, Poland was part of the buffer zone once upon a time too, between the Soviet Union and everybody else.
Yeah.
After World War II, there were certain nations that were left out of both to provide a sort of a political and physical buffer between two major powers.
Yeah.
Right, the East and the West. And ever since then, both sides have been I mean, arguably, I think Russia probably got the shorter end of the stick, particularly after the fall of the Soviet Union. Right, when the Soviet Union broke up, a lot of the former Soviet states sort of got kind of de facto folded into the buffer, right? Like Ukraine, right? Like Belarus
now,
and
when
Putin
was voted in legitimately, the first time, I can't speak for the other times. He had high hopes that Russia would then be brought into the fold with the rest of the Western world.
Mm-hmm.
And that'd be the end of it. That Russia would become modernized. It, the same kind of ambitions that Peter the Great had.
Sure.
But the Western world just said, nah, we like our club as it is. You can fuck off.
Pretty much.
Totally unnecessary.
And like that's where it comes back to. Honestly, I think the best possible thing at this point, right? Earlier in the war, there were probably other options that would have been better. But at this point, the best possible thing is honestly for Ukraine to cede what it has to. Right? To stop the fucking killing. And the problem with that is that there are a number of other powers who keep pouring poison in Ukraine's ears saying, oh, you'll be one of us. You'll be part of NATO. You'll have our protection and all this stuff, which, by the way, according to several treaties, can't fucking happen.
And well, it's partially down to these poisonous EU leaders as well.
Right.
They're the ones that are doing it.
Sure.
They are so power hungry. They can't step back for a fucking second and see the actual big picture.
It is.
I'll
disagree with you there too. It is part of the bigger picture because who runs the fucking EU?
Right, but if the current situation leads to World War III and we're all left in ashes,
100%.
That's the bigger picture.
Yeah, no. that is the eventual goal. The whole like Sasquatch. You remember the exact wording on the Georgia Guidestones?
Oh, not exactly, but it was 1.5 billion people.
It was
worldwide.
half.
That's
it was 500 million people left alive worldwide because that was a manageable population that could be controlled and could be ruled. That means, given our current population of I think somewhere in the neighborhood of 8.2 billion people, right?
Almost
7.5 billion people have to die to make that a reality.
Or we have to have a major drop in our birth rate for the next 50 years, maybe 75.
Well, I think that's why they're pushing for both, because it's kind of a whatever comes first scenario.
Well, the problem with birth rate control is that there's no guarantee you'll be able to restart that when the time comes. I mean,
look at China. Look at China.
Well, I'm just saying when you've altered the culture to such an extent, like, look at your inner city urbanites who don't have kids because, the planet and our carbon.
Again, we don't need to think about it hypothetically. Look at China. That is literally what happened in China. They order people to stop having kids, and if women keep trying, they send men into their homes to rip out their ovaries for freaking decades, and then after that they go, oh hey, you can have 2 kids
allegedly
now. You can actually documented.
Stop it. Get some help, bro. Read terms of service, please.
Okay.
Just saying.
And then two child policy. No one's having kids. Okay, well, let's make it 3-child policy. Then they'll have 2 kids. They're still not. Why aren't they having kids? Because you broke up the clan structures. You completely destroyed people's willingness to have children. You completely and absolutely destroyed the average wage. So now the average person isn't able to actually provide for themselves, let alone a child. And then you tack on the fact that for some fucking reason, Chinese elderly Chinese people are more likely to develop certain conditions that make them have to retire earlier. And because of the one piece of the culture you actually kept meant that there are the couples, these young couples who might want to start having kids are good kids or good children are good sons and daughters and start caring for their parents, means they don't have the money for children. And then the people who are actually able to afford to care for their parents and have a child, the child in question usually is hyper spoiled, is just not necessarily the most viable individual to then start producing for the economy. So you've completely and absolutely destroyed your system of repopulation
Shadow.
to the point where yeah, sorry. No,
You're discussing the Yuri Bezmenov concept from scratch. The entire breakdown of the culture from within, utilizing the destruction of language in order to manipulate the population to perform actions or not that you choose for them to do or don't. Reproducing being one of them.
Might be part of. I'm just reciting Chinese history post the Great Leap Forward. That I genuinely don't know much about Yuri Bezmenov aside from the fact that he told us what the plan was to take out the U.S. All I did was just read out, like, same thing. You could talk about Mice Utopia by talking about the history of Korea. We don't need to talk about what this future looks like with the lower birth rates because we're seeing it happen in the East Asians. We're seeing it happen in East Asia.
You're not wrong.
Well, that was a big tangent.
I mean,
yeah.
When it comes down to it, there is certainly something, shall we say, global taking place. It certainly seems to be falling into some sort of, I don't know, order, maybe. And it's something new. So make of that what you will. I don't know what to tell you, dude. I have a counter thrust, though. I have come up with an idea.
A counter thrust?
Yes, sir.
Damn.
Hear me out. Manifest Destiny 2. The Manifestos. No. That we're saving that for ourselves. But Manifest Destiny is for everyone else. Nothing? No arguments? Abe, how would you like to be subjugated by America? Poof, you get a gun and the ability to tell your government off. But we won't care because we'll be 5,000 miles away.
Listen, given the current government that we have, I would gladly welcome American troops on our shores.
Yeah, no, I saw
just to get rid of the slime that runs this country.
Or at the very least,
if it were a scenario in which we reversed, the situation we've had for about 25 fucking years now. I mean, good luck invading the UK. Good fucking luck.
The Irish are cheap.
Listen.
All we got to do is like put a little mud on our skin and come over in little dingy boats, man. You'll welcome us right in.
Yeah, that'd probably do it.
No, we're in the wrong direction, bro. They don't want none of the Irish there either. It doesn't matter what you rub on your skin. Your ass will show up Irish coming from this way.
No, yes. We love the Irish.
No, yes, you do. Love them so
They're
much.
Our peeps.
You kept them.
We loved them so much they became part of the mainland.
Sort of.
Yeah. Most of the people in Liverpool are descendants of Irish migrants.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I feel like the Republicans would counter the claim that the Irish were loved.
Man.
Yeah, but they're also terrorist assholes, so
those are just in, that little tip at the top up there, and those guys there. The rest of them seem to be pretty laid back. Once you get about 50 miles away from that border,
Irish folk, like from the Republic, are chill as fuck. They're cool dudes and dudettes.
Yes, I agree.
And nothing in between.
Until they get triggered.
Oh, gotta get arrested now.
They are until you put a freaking migrant housing center near them, and at which point they get a little bit of arsony.
So
yeah,
like the two Irish folks, like actual Irish folks that I have met, dude and a chick, brother and sister, separate from one another, were fine until they got triggered. The dude got punchy as all get out. He'd jump on 5 people. He didn't give a damn. He'd finish whatever he was drinking at that moment. There was no hold my beer involved. He'd just knock it out, set it down, and then plow right into the middle of 5 big rednecks like it wasn't even nothing.
Oh, yeah. That's just the drinking culture over here.
Okay.
That's just a normal weekend. The
sister did it with a neck knife. One of those necklaces, big pentagram, and half of it's a blade. She did it with a neck knife, so you had to watch her. One of those. Yeah.
I got a lot of weird little knives.
Yeah, I bet.
Well, you never know when I know y'all got a massive stabbing epidemic over there and all that stuff. We just prefer to shoot people, so people don't usually worry too much about knives.
It's not even a stabbing problem. It's a migrant problem.
It's just not, as common. And most of my knives are tools, not weapons. Most. Yeah, they can all be used as weapons. They're tools.
I think I was just sent absolute gold. Hold on. Let me check it and make sure it's safe.
Oh, shit.
While Squatch does that, I would like to argue that Abe's country doesn't have a knife problem. It has a savage problem.
Yeah, he just said that.
Yeah. I just use politer language.
Because it's English.
Yeah.
Howdy, combat wombat.
Yeah.
Howdy. Wheezy Pillar?
Sam, if you're still looking for guests, that's one dude I'd heavily recommend. Combat, Wheezy, he's freaking great conversationalist. And he has a lot of fucking Japanese shit he could show off.
Ooh, cool.
Okay.
Well, you've also got to be careful with that for the TOS as well. They get a little bit.
I'm talking about like the banners, the uniforms, the like random knickknacks. Like, dude has been building a museum and animal rescue in his apartment. It's freaking amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I am probably the least weeb of all my weeb friends, so I don't know about Japan so much, but we can definitely talk about that. As always, if you're interested in being a guest on the show, either contact me via DM on Twix or by my email, both of which can be found in my About page here on YouTube. So anyway, long tangent.
Yeah,
short.
so back to the topics.
Lauren Chin's back. I'm happy about it. I hope
there we go. Topic number 1 covered.
Let's put a cap on it right there.
Yep.
So the other thing I've been trying to, I'm not even sure if this is the right fucking clip and all that, but so Alex Jones's head exploded this week. Like
it was just a headache I was having.
Yeah, he was still,
I'm kind of retarded.
Holy shit! He so over the whole Orange Schroyer thing. I don't know if y'all have been keeping up with what's been going on with InfoWars.
Oh, this is the guy who left InfoWars, right?
Yeah. This is the guy who left InfoWars and did a 5-hour fucking live stream bitching about why he left InfoWars.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. So apparently he and Alex Jones had been having off-screen conflicts, and some other stuff that I don't know. I mean, it sounds like the usual employer-employee bullshit. They didn't get along, creative direction, all that stuff. It's whatever. It's fine. But the crash out has been, to use one of Shadow's whole generation's retarded terms. The crash out has been. I don't usually get all vulture-y about this kind of thing, but I mean,
for real.
Legendary comes to mind.
100.
Like Sasquatch, you saw what I'm talking about, where it's like, I will destroy you all.
So
his drip ain't sick and he ain't got no riz.
Was this when he showed up and grabblered all over his freaking kid while he was doing his podcast? And I didn't see the full flip out. I missed some of it, I guess.
Let me put the link. I'm not 100% sure about whether or not this is the correct link or the correct clip because I haven't watched this one all the way
I'll
through.
check
I've been looking for it, but this might be the one anyway. It's like a 2-minute clip where he starts off as he does, just kind of like, oh, I'm upset. I'm upset about a thing and all that. But he eventually gets to a point where it's just like, am I seriously about to watch a man's head do the scanners thing right now?
Yeah. That was the scene I was thinking of. As soon as he said head explodes,
right?
I always go to that scene.
This whole thing's got David Cronenberg written all over it. That's all I'm saying. It's Videodrome, anybody?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a thing. I'm gonna try and bring it up here. I do. It's kind of one of those things. It's kind of hard to do live. I really should have gone over this before I started the show like a fucking professional. But you know how it is.
We'll do it live.
Doing it live, boys and girls.
All right.
Professionalism is dead.
I believe this is the clip, but I'm not sure exactly where he goes like super unhinged. And a lot of it is like personally about Schroyer, but then he just, I mean, I think all of it's about Schroyer, but it's like he gets to a point where, he could be talking about everybody.
Yeah.
Welcome in.
Owen. Wait, isn't
He's
Owen
the
Schroyer
tangent
the dude?
king.
Isn't Owen Schroyer the dude who doesn't believe in dinosaurs?
I think he's one of them, yeah. But he's also extremely anti-Israel, extremely, he's not very pro-Trump, kind of thing, which is fine. He doesn't have to be, but it's kind of doesn't.
All right, 1 out of 3 ain't bad.
Jones's vibe there.
Damn.
Anti, that's dirty.
Mm-hmm.
So, do it live. Fuck it. We'll do it live. Yeah. All right. Anyway, go.
We're going to listen to this and sit around and talk about Alex Jones for 45 more minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, fuck it.
Fucking bottle open. Did you just fucking open another thing of alcohol?
People, I want other talk shows to be incredibly successful, but I'm not here to be the villain when I'm not. Like I'm an inanimate object. Like I'm just something to project whatever you want onto. And then Owen putting out videos. Oh, I love InfoWars. I'm friendly. God, what's going on, Alex? Jeepers, creepers. Again, this game, I really hate.
Hold up. I got to hear that again.
Mm-hmm.
And then
This is the making of another classic.
Say whatever you want about this guy, but he is animated as fuck and very entertaining to watch, regardless of what he's going off about.
Yeah.
Wars. I'm friendly. God, what's going on, Alex? Jeepers, creepers. Again, this game, I really hate him now. Yeah, he's an asshole. He's an elitist, arrogant dirtbag. Owen Schroyer is scum. You like that, Owen? You want more? I got a lot more.
Holy shit.
You think I'm here to be shit on? Do I look like a fucking toilet to you?
So,
are we positive this is not AI?
Oh, we're positive. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, we're positive.
Sure it's not AI.
No, he did like a 9-hour stream bitching about fucking Owen Schroyer.
Okay, but
I've got that fucking Jeepers Creepers song going around in my head now as well. God damn it, Alex.
Where'd you get those peepers?
Yeah.
Alex Jones. There's no more filter. It's gone. And anybody fucks with me is going to get the full truth. And nothing but it, so help me God.
I love it when he does that.
I'm so excited for the edits that's going to come out of this.
Dude, how this guy's not doing death metal, I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
This is going to cause some death metal. Yes. Oh my God. I hate AI. I'm going to have to use it. Scully, we're doing death metal with Alex Jones. Get busy.
There's a dude on YouTube who takes viral videos and then makes metal songs out of them.
Yes.
Have you seen him before?
I review him a lot. I love that guy. He's great.
It's great.
Bro, Squatch, we've got one. If you just hook Suka up, I'm pretty sure he'd be down. If he's still around. I haven't heard from him in a bit, actually. Now that I realize
he's around. He was in the chat yesterday.
Okay, gotcha.
You know, when you weren't.
I was in there for a little bit. I just got EP. The cigar wore off.
Oh, EP Shadow.
Yes,
Oh.
EP Shadow. I've been up since 5 a.m.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Hey,
What,
been
you
up
want a
since
fucking
Tuesday,
cookie?
man? I don't know
No,
what you're
yeah.
talking.
I don't want it. I got a cigar and a soda. I got a
There's
cigar,
no,
a soda, and a
y'all are
WWE
lying
match.
to me again. I will not accept these lies to be perpetrated on my platform. There is no
What
such
fucking
thing as 5
lies?
a.m. There's no such thing as 5 a.m.
0500? Would you like that? Is that
I
acceptable?
don't care what you dress it up as, your figment little thing that you're talking about. Like, God.
And I'll be up at 5 a.m. for a mirror stream if she's doing one.
Indeed.
Is that 5 your time or our time? Does that matter?
My time.
I don't think it matters.
English time is not like regular people time.
It really
No,
isn't.
no. Well, we invented time, so fuck off.
Isn't it more of a discovery? But we'll get over that.
No. We invented it.
Punches, and I don't play any games.
The British Empire was eternal, you know.
Insert.
That
Was.
I knew
Until
that.
we invented time.
I knew that was going to trigger this shit. I was like, damn it. Maybe and it almost worked. See, you got a breath. I heard you take that breath. You went and hesitated. And it was like, no, fuck it. I'm going in.
Hell yeah. You're all welcome.
I have lied by not going full hardcore myself and telling you what I really think. I didn't censor anybody else, but I censored this guy. I never lied to you, but I lied to myself. And that's over. You think Alex Jones the last 12 months leveled up? Well, guess what? The next level's here. And if you want to fight, you better believe you've got one. Anybody.
Okay, would you box Alex Jones?
Objectively, yes.
No.
I'd take that fight.
I want to see him in the WWE right now.
I would
He's
I would
gonna
watch
use
him,
rabies.
but I would not get in a ring with that man because like you just indicate he's got fucking rabies. He would murderate me.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't in good conscience get in the ring with Alex Jones.
My sense of self-preservation would keep me as far from that ring as possible.
I mean, yeah, like
I would jump in. I'd put money on that.
It would kind of feel. It would kind of feel as though you were fighting someone that is both kind of retarded by his own confession, but also actually disabled, but also a rabid genius.
Rabid being the operative term.
Have you ever had to restrain somebody who was like kind of actually retarded? Because let me tell you something. There is there is a stereotype out there that is 100% true. Retard strength is absolutely a thing.
It's 100% a thing.
7 times stronger than a typical person.
Hold on. This is directly to that point. There's a buddy of mine in high school, not too bright, not too quick, not too fast, couldn't figure out how to run. He just kind of walked a little bit faster than he usually walked. Like it just was just a thing he couldn't do. One day we're trying to put a 6-cylinder engine on the back of a truck to take it to a machine shop to get it fixed. We have 9 people out there. We can't get the damn little engine lifter thing up high enough to get it on the truck. So we put it down to readjust. Wendell walks over, looks at it and goes, "Why ain't it on the truck?" Well, we got to adjust our height. He goes, squats a 6-cylinder engine and sets it in the bed of the truck. But let me point this out. You can't set that on the tailgate. It'll fold it like tinfoil. So he had to set it out onto the truck. And I will never, ever raise a hand in violence to any of those people, ever.
No, because
at all.
No, they grab your hand and break every fucking bone in it immediately.
You know what I think it is too is so in those of us who don't have like extra chromosomes, there are certain limits, certain like subliminal or mental limits that we place on ourselves, right? Like, that thing looks too heavy to lift. Obviously, we're going to try and lift it. Oh, I can't lift it, right? They don't have necessarily the same restrictions, which allows them to use like the full part of their strength. But if we were to do that, we'd end up tearing fucking ligaments from muscle and bone, right?
Yeah, they've got stronger neuromuscular connections.
Right, they do have stronger neuromuscular connections, but they also have I don't know, it's like those natural like fucking limits that we place on ourselves or that are in our brain subconsciously just aren't turned on.
It's the same thing when you get those stories about like mothers flipping cars to get their kids out, or like a soldier doing something fucking like
100%. We are all capable of that sort of thing, but we prevent ourselves from doing it because we would also end up doing so much damage to ourselves in the end.
You could bite off if you stuck your thumb into your mouth and bit down. You could bite off your finger if you wanted to, but your brain goes, "Don't do that. That's dumb."
Which is why I would never get into a ring with this man. He would punch straight through my skull.
No, I'd win.
No,
you think he's got a few extra chromosomes knocking around?
Not only would he punch through your skull, kid, but then he would teabag the fucking hole.
I'd win. I would win. I'd absolutely win.
You got a funny definition of winning there. Anyway, let's get on with this.
Absolutely no shot, man.
I could see. Here's the thing, okay? I wouldn't have to like. I
just
don't get hit.
Shit!
What?
Okay, no, I guess my internet dropped off or something because I typed in. Actually, it sounded like Wendell, who happens to sound like Carl, and it never came up. There's nothing offensive in that sentence, and YouTube was like, nope. But then, yep, it popped up. So I guess it was my internet. My bad. I'm sorry. Y'all want to finish this?
Yes.
Thought something bad happened.
You sucked off my tits.
Oh, sound dropped.
Port.
That's because I suck at this game.
Hold on. Did I just hear Alex Jones shout, and I quote,
Yes, you did.
Sucked off my tits.
I'm going to back it up a little bit more. Suck off my tits. I'm going to feed you like Romulus and Remus. Oh, this is going to be great.
Suck off my tits, you retards.
I believe you've got one. Anybody. But if you've sucked off my tits, like the wolf that fed Romulus and Remus, and I've done nothing but giving you support. And make no mistake, for 10 years, Owen Schroyer's been sucking off the InfoWars tit. And then you want to try to stab your mother in the back because you're a big boy leaving the nest. Well, guess what? You know what your mother is going to do? Piss on you.
Yep. So this turns out to not be the clip that I was referring to, but it's still pretty good.
One, though.
That was funny as fuck.
There are so many memes in there.
Imagine if you had the delusions of grandeur to equate yourself to the mother of Rome.
Right.
Fucking hell.
I could only hope to one day reach that level of narcissism.
Yeah.
He gets
low key.
He gets to a point. This was the clip that kept coming up most frequently. He gets to a point though where he's talking about, and I will continue to look for this after the show. I will try and find it for next week, assuming it doesn't get scrubbed from the fucking internet. But he, he gets to a point where he's like, no, I'm all in. I'm all in against evil. Total commitment against evil. This is total war. Right? Like he just loses his shit, and he starts talking about how he's going to destroy each and every person who stands up against him because he's empowered by Almighty God. I mean, it's fucking wild. His head is turned the same color as like fucking Violet Beauregard after the blueberry thing.
Yeah.
I think I figured out why I wouldn't fight him. It's not so much worried about the fight itself, but the fact that I would completely 100% expect him to cheat.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't, there's no way to plan or prepare for that.
Yeah. So it's, and like I said, there's more to it than this, and I will continue to try and look for it. I'm not going to do it during the rest of the show because obviously it took me a fucking hour to find that one. But I will try to have it for next week. Just because I think it's kind of nuts. It's kind of nuts. So Alex Jones explodes. Lauren Chen comes back, and funny enough, apparently NASA has announced that we're in a second space race to the goddamn moon against China.
Who?
Yeah. This has kind of been going on for a while, though.
I blame Disney.
It's not a space race, though. Like, one of two things happened. Either the moon landing was completely fake, in which case nobody's fucking been there, or we did get there, and the moon belongs to the United States of fucking America. There's no space race. There's no second space race anyway. If there's a space race at all, it'd be the first one because we never got there in the first place.
I blame Disney. This is all Disney's fault. This is all just a bad sequel.
Yeah. It's just fucking dumb. And the worst part is just like they're just like, oh, we're just gonna beat them there and all that stuff. I was like, you think that's all China's going to do? They're gonna send up fucking ships with a fucking the materials to make a base, right? That's
of course they will.
They're going to do that.
That's
if we're
the
not
goal.
also doing that and beating them to it, then there's no fucking point in going out there at all. Because like if you're just trying to get there first or whatever, but technically we already fucking did that. We could do it right now with fucking Starship, right?
Yeah.
But and then I think Trump put out a statement saying like the future of the United States is Mars, and I'm like, okay, well, first of all, there are issues there.
All right.
Many issues there.
Mars is in my opinion very much like Africa. It's a good place to just dump resources until you don't have any left.
With our current level of technological development and the travel times involved, I agree with Squatch. In regards to the Chinese getting there and putting a base on the moon first, I don't think that's what's going to happen, Sam. That's not their MO. Their MO isn't developing new technology that's better than everyone else. Their MO is waiting for the US to do something and then just taking it and doing it cheaper. So I think what's going to happen is they're like, oh, America, go to the moon, go to the moon. America starts developing the basic infrastructure, spends billions and billions and trillions of dollars doing it. And China goes, wow, America, you're so cool. Hey, listen, we could maintain all that stuff you put up there way cheaper because we don't value human rights. Would you like us to do that for you? You are so big and cool and you have such a big penis. Well, you're right, China. Have all our moon bases.
Shadow. You have to do that with a Chinese accent or it's not funny at all.
Okay, so you get mad at me earlier for violating TOS, and then I try to intentionally not violate TOS.
But it's good old-fashioned family racism. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Listen, you just have to learn. You have to learn to read my mind.
I'll put it on fucking Erica. That's it. We're done.
Sasquatch over here acting like a woman.
Shadow is my favorite homosexual.
It's inscrutable. You just have to know what he wants.
Extra large vagina. Damn. What do I do about the sand in my vagina?
He has the sand in his vagina.
That is Japanese, you racist bastard.
You racist fuck.
He is a homosexual.
Homosexual.
Terrible. I would apologize.
You're homosexual.
I wish a million Indians upon your country.
Let me tell you something.
We can't get rid of the fuckers.
The one time we have love you long time. $5.
Oh, ping pong.
A million Indians upon Sam's state.
I know ping pong. Pretty cool, dude. Just got weed for it.
Yeah, we're getting ping pong, or as the Chinese call it, ping pong.
Hold on. Did you know there's an actual Chinese province called Chongqing?
Yeah, that's why it's funny.
Like Ching Chong.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the neighboring one's called Ching Chong. Yeah.
Like you heard the old saying about like how the Chinese name their kids, right? They just take the cutlery.
They drop a can down and whatever sound it makes. Yeah.
Ting ting tong.
No. My buddy didn't know that Chongqing was a real place. I showed it to him on Google Maps. Man was dying for 3 straight minutes.
Hey Sam.
Really?
Anyway, we can change this conversation.
Yes, pull up the moon thing.
It's there. It's back there. I can't push your buttons, bro. You never gave me keys.
Yeah.
There we go.
Let's go fuck with the moon.
Gal is the only one you trusted
Maybe.
with any sort of power, and she's abandoned you in your moment of need.
All right.
That's not true. Larry's got it too.
President Trump and I have a mission. America leads on Earth and in space.
Pause. Hold up. Did you see that?
And in space.
Is not straight out of a TIE fighter?
Yup.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Galactic Empire real confirmed.
This, by the way, this was posted by the acting administrator of NASA, Sean Duffy.
Is he really, really strong?
Yeah.
In the
I want
Force?
to go die on Geonosis.
No, like physically absurdly strong, like
I
one
don't-
of those people we were talking about earlier.
No,
Go away, Buddy Lorenzo.
I think
Stop
he might just be an idiot.
Okay.
like a run-of-the-mill idiot.
We're going back to the moon. And this time, when we plant our flag, we stay.
We got to buy those off the Jews, old Blandy.
Called Artemis.
They have lasers, Sam. We're going to put railguns up there, which are way better for many reasons.
Not as cool, though.
Mac
And what
cannons
was
are
the
fucking awesome, you degenerate
cool.
bastard.
To Mars. Our mission is maintaining American dominance in space. China wants to get there, but we're getting there first. We
China's
will
already been to space, man. They've been,
space race.
they were part of the whole fucking International Space Station when it first went up, man.
Yep.
They've already been in space. They've been in space for fucking decades.
Yeah.
You know, there's only a handful of countries that have, but China's one of them.
It'd be really funny to drag them into like an actual, like where we make them think they can actually beat us to Mars, and midway through we just dump our foreign currency reserves of their primary currency and then just let them
Right.
flounder. I think that'd
Which
be kind of funny.
It's just funny because he's like, oh, American dominance in space. It's like, well, first of all, our only real rivals in that regard is Russia, and Russia is in the middle of a fucking world war right now, right? You know, but you know, like that back during the Cold War when we weren't actively blowing people up, you know, on the news nightly, they put a lot more resources into the whole cosmonaut thing, right? In fact, wasn't it the first dogs to survive a space trip were Russian, right? I think the first
I don't
mean,
think it was survive. I don't think it was survive. I think it was make it to space. I don't
No,
know.
the
My
no,
version
the
of
first
dog
ones to
is
survive
forbidden.
were also Russian, though. That's what I'm saying. It's like they were
I'm
making progress.
Googling that because that feels like cap.
There were a couple
No,
of
it was.
tiny
It really was
hospitals and
Russian
things.
dog.
Yeah.
It wasn't Lycos.
Yeah.
It was the other one though.
Yeah, it was oh fuck, I forget.
Yeah.
the name. It's
Leica
got a
died
line.
in space.
Yeah.
So
it
you
was
know, like-
Belka and Stelka were the
That's
first
it.
ones brought back. All the other ones got fucking microwaved.
yes. Which, you know, like we learned a lot about shielding after sacrificing all those dogs.
Yeah.
What
Poor little
did we
pups.
cook out of curiosity?
Yeah. I don't know. Better over an open flame. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, the point is that the U.S. has by no means had space dominance. The only thing that gave us any kind of claim to that was the moon landing in 1969, which I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying there's a possibility that it didn't happen and the whole thing was a fucking hoax. I don't know for sure. I think that we did, but I'm open to the possibility that Stanley Kubrick fucked that up too. You know?
Personally, either way, it doesn't really matter to me. What matters to me is the fact that there is a single UN ordinance that only applies to the US, and it pisses me the fuck off, and that is we're not allowed to put weapons in space. The United States, that is literally going, America, you're better than us. Please don't use your superiority to control us any more than you already
First of
have.
all, you assume that we haven't been doing it anyway.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
Oh, well, even if we've been doing it, good, because rules are just pieces of paper you can rip whenever you want. But the fact that
How
that
do you
rule
prove
exists and we went, yeah, we're not going to veto that. We'll just let that happen. Fucking pisses me off. It's pussy
How
shit.
do you prove it? You get no evidence until something gets absolutely obliterated from orbit. And then what are you going to say about it?
I mean,
Well, then you obliterate whoever's complaining out of orbit.
Good luck.
Look, Shadow, going back to what you said earlier about how railguns are infinitely cooler than lasers. Actually, no, because lasers leave very, very fucking little evidence aside from fire, right?
In regards to railguns, I mean, it's all physics. You could theoretically set up the railgun to
La
snipe
Hyena might have been space lasers.
Object.
Our space lasers.
The actual object has a reflection. It reflects light. It has heat. If you launch a physical object from another physical object, that is visible on some level. A laser can pass between 2 points, and if you don't happen to catch scatter effect from the target, it just catches on fire and there's no evidence.
Yeah, keep in mind laser beams are invisible to the naked eye unless something is added to them to make them visible.
Well, the other main factor with lasers would be like the atmospheric diffraction, so you can't just use like it's going to be harder to get the laser down from orbit than a railgun.
You're not. All right, hold on.
You would have an energy release that's more detectable.
See, this is why I think we have been to the moon, right? Because you could effectively fire a laser at any point in orbit at the moon and use it as a reflective surface with like mirrors and such to target anywhere on Earth, right?
Not really.
I mean, you could.
It would take an insane amount of power and an insanely tight beamed laser.
Well, of course, it's like Shadow does have a point about diffraction, and he also has and you have an excellent point about the way that light actually works, and that's why tight beams are a thing in the expanse, right? They have to be, otherwise they're never going to have enough cohesion when they get to the target area, right? Because light tends to, I think expand is exactly the wrong word, but I'm going to go with it for visual effect as it moves out, right? That's why when you use like a flashlight or whatever, the beam gets wider as it goes, but it also gets weaker the further it gets, right? That's why you want it as tight as fucking possible, because that's going to happen naturally.
Yes.
Right. So yeah, you're right about that, but I'm just saying it can be done.
With an Earth, I don't think it can from an Earth-based laser. You might be able to put together enough.
I'm not talking about Earth-based. I'm talking about lasers aboard satellites.
Sure. The power becomes an issue, but let's say hypothetically the power is not an issue at all, right? We can just punch straight through the atmosphere to the ground and turn it into a molten lava escape. How big? Manhole cover sized?
Maybe manhole cover
sized. So I read this series, and for the life of me, I can't remember the name of it, but Fear the Sky was the name of the first book, Fear the Sky. And the reason it was named Fear the Sky was aliens had placed the Black Knight satellite specifically in orbit and was waiting for a technological advancement so that we would actually refine all the metals, and then they could just come and take them. And so whenever the trigger was sent, the AI on the satellite was like, oh, there's enough metal available now. We'll send a message back to homeworld and start eradicating the various nations on the Earth. And the way it went about doing that, instead of like getting involved in the communications and really screwing with all of that stuff, it just smoked most of the world leaders and allowed humans to do what they do naturally, which is lose their fucking minds. Because somebody had to do it, and there's no such thing as aliens. And so everybody blamed everyone else, and the next thing you know, there's nukes everywhere. It was great.
I mean, sure, yeah. I guess
the only reason I bring it up is that book went quite detailed into the amount of energy it would take to punch through to, say, like Mount Everest, and it would take like 4 times as much energy to make it to sea level. And then you have to have enough energy to actually do damage to whatever it is you're striking.
Right. A laser has to be a sustained beaming. It doesn't just like instantly burn through things. Right. So yeah, like obviously there are obstacles. My contention is that we already know that by the time a technology makes it into the civilian zeitgeist, it's already been in use by the military for some time, right? Generally speaking.
Yeah.
That said, how do we know? Because it's not like they would tell us that they haven't already solved those problems.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have
You
to
wouldn't.
read that book again. I'm sorry, I just got lost in a memory.
Oh, fair enough. The other thing I was going to say is like as to Shadow's railgun things. First of all, railguns are like that's like a magnetic acceleration kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
If you're firing from orbit, that's 100% unnecessary. Like you could just do the tungsten rod of God thing, right? Gravity will fucking take care of all of the acceleration.
Yeah.
You don't need magnetic acceleration. You don't need railguns. You just need to drop a fucking like a big ass tungsten rod, and it'll hit with the same impact force as a fucking like 4-ton nuke. You know?
Yeah.
So, you could take out whole cities with just a single lengthy piece of metal.
Yeah, and that's before you've activated the weapon.
Right.
No, it is the weapon. There can be a payload with it if you feel like that type of shit's necessary. But if you take 4 tons and drop it from orbit, when it hits Moscow, the outskirts will be rendered into like a nuclear wasteland without the radiation.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, of course.
It's like magic.
Mm-hmm. You hit the right point on say a fault line, right?
Yeah.
Cause untold damage.
Or my personal favorite, I can't remember what book it was I read about it, but they dropped one on Hawaii. Right down the freaking volcano, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which would cause...
We don't even know.
You drop anything from a sufficient distance and it's going to have the same kind of effect.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that the railgun technology is unnecessary when you're talking about firing from orbit.
Right. Yeah. As long as you're talking about firing from orbit. But if you're talking, say, ship to ship type stuff.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yet again, we run into the same problems with rail guns that we have with trying to utilize lasers, with one exception. Well, 2, actually. Lasers are pretty much instantaneous. You get a target, you shoot the target, it then burns up. Yep. Rail guns are not the same. Time does pass before the rail actually strikes, right? Mm-hmm. So not only do you have to have sophisticated targeting computers to make that type of targeting possible, but also the amounts of power required to accelerate a metal tungsten alloy to speeds utilizable as a weapon is absolutely absurd. Although I do believe they will develop them, I think it will be more used for propulsion than war, but the war aspect will always be there.
Sure. I that's why I'm thinking, like, if you're talking again ship to ship, right? You're absolutely right. The problems with rail guns and lasers are the same thing. It's like it's all a matter of perspective and distance, and like you're constantly in motion, they're constantly in motion, et cetera, et cetera. There's everything you got to take into account for on a naval battle, but in 3 dimensions, right?
3 dimensions and with vectors
at vast distances. Right,
vast event, but that's the thing
where you can't eyeball your subject because things tend to be dark in the darkness
with a laser.
Right. Well, you can, but at the same time, like I think your lasers are going to be probably more used to mark a target than anything else for guided ballistic, technology.
Exactly.
Like missiles or torpedoes are going to be really the only effective weapon in space, ship to ship. Like railguns are awesome, but they fire in a straight fucking line.
Yeah, I may lose connection here in a little bit. It just started raining. But everything's been fixed and I'm supposed to be fine. I shouldn't even hiccup.
So anyhow. Shadow, are you back yet?
No.
Shadow.
Yo. Hey, all right, let's finish this little thing here, and then we can wrap up the show.
Yes.
I'm committed to getting us back to the moon before President Trump leaves office.
Good luck.
Come aboard to the final frontier.
All right, let's chew on that for a second. Do we have time?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's back off of the whole race concept. Let's try to, okay, humanity unifies. We're going to the moon. We're going to stay this time. We're not going to do the moon as a harsh mistress. We're going to do something out of Asimov's pocket and do it right. Okay. We do have the facilities in place to make this a perfectly reasonable step. Okay. That is the International Space Station. The ability to utilize the resources aboard the International Space Station to build the craft that goes to the moon means we should be able to put something significant on the moon on our first trip.
Sure.
We could literally build a full-on nuclear power plant and then ensconce it inside of a ship that could feasibly land that fucker. Or at worst, we could build one and launch it at the moon, let it bounce around, and then go land where it landed. Right? There's a way to do this. This can be done from orbit. This is something that it takes lots of little trips to orbit to get this done. But then you can go colonize the moon. That's a thing that can happen. What we can't do is live there unless you're just going to stay there forever.
Right, because you could never come back if you were there for an extended period of time.
Anything more than 6 weeks.
Yeah. So it's one of the things that I think science fiction gets pretty wrong, is that there's a lot of traffic between the whatever lunar colony there is and Earth. Back and forth.
That's exactly how it would have to happen. They would have to constantly be coming back and forth, and you'd have to be deploying every 5 weeks, 4 weeks, every 3 weeks, an entirely different lunar crew, unless you find a group of people willing to go and just.
We're talking like cityscapes and that sort of thing. Like, you know, it's there's becoming.
Well, it has to start somewhere.
Right. But it can't be unless they find some way to fix the gravitational problem.
Well, that's what I'm saying is, all right, so there's this material on the moon that's pretty ubiquitous called H3. This stuff is invented for space travel. This stuff is just the absolute bee's knees when it comes to like space travel, rocket fuel type stuff. It's the bomb. It's free energy as far as we can tell. And there's nobody living there and no animals, and we can just mine the living shit out of it. Nobody cares. Right? Okay. So the real big hang up is the physical equipment to place in situ and generate enough power to do things like build tunnels and mine the H3. Yep. Once you get that tidbit started, I believe we'll find a whole lot more ice in the moon than we expect to.
I think maybe not ice. I don't know about the ice factor, but I do think that minerally it's going to be very, very rich. I mean, just even on the surface alone, we do any kind of like real surveying for minerals there. Like, look how cratered the fucking thing is.
Yeah,
I'm sure that there are trace materials from like all over the fucking place in there that we could find a use for, and that's not talking about what's actually in what the moon is composed of itself, which could be of use.
What percentage of that you reckon was comets?
I don't know.
Wasn't the movie Moon based around mining H3?
Yes, it was. And in that movie, that is a phenomenal movie. It absolutely shows.
It's a great movie.
What's the dude's name? I can't remember his name.
Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell. He does a phenomenally good job at portraying different aspects of the same personality. Unbelievable performance.
Directed by David Bowie's son.
I didn't know David Bowie had a son.
Yeah.
I find that humorous for some reason.
Well, he was originally named Zowie Bowie, and he wasn't too keen on that name.
Yeah, I can't imagine why he would take issue with that.
But is another excellent film.
His current legal name is Duncan Jones.
That's a good one. I could have chosen a name. That might have been the one I went with.
Yeah, that's a good name. It's a solid name.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I think the whole moon base thing is certainly possible and all that stuff, but I think, and I know that the dude mentioned it in the video, he's like, oh, we're gonna try and get there and all, and this time we're gonna go to stay and all that shit. I was like, okay, but if you're actually competing against China for this, which I am not convinced that is actually happening, but if you are competing against China for this, they're already in a process of fucking setting those multiple payloads up too, because you're going to have to send up multiple fucking rockets with multiple modules in order to make this a viable thing. Like, you can't just drop a fucking pup tent on the moon. I mean, I guess you could, but
I kind of want to see him try that now.
I mean, you could, especially if you have the population spare to do it, which was a benefit the Russians had, or the Soviets. So Anna doesn't.
All right.
I mean, a pup tent only houses one, so it's not that big a commitment, but really.
All right. But my general point being, if you're a nation that that doesn't really place as much value on human life, and you have a large pool of people you can utilize, you don't really need to care much about the safety standards, which was a massive benefit the Soviets took advantage of during the space race last time. That's probably China's one benefit, assuming their population decline is close to what they've described, and it's not actually worse.
Oh, it's far worse than they've said, dude. They're not going to give you the real numbers.
I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. They could also use
They're Chinese.
Irrespective of that,
reasons, fascism. I don't know
what will happen in the future. I don't see any way around this. The International Space Station is the international platform that exists. So it will be an international effort to get to the moon if we're going to put a colony there. I believe that the Chinese will provide the manpower willing to go and stay and live on the moon. That's going to be their contribution when it comes down to it. After that, of course, we'll have a constant flow of quote unquote experts going up there to do the sciences, but there's going to have to be a good, for every expert you've got, you're going to need 90 people to deal with all of the bullshit you have to do to make that man's oxygen and water and food, everything else that goes with it. We are not going to be able to carry enough crap with us. The question really falls to, and we've done some experiments on the ISS, the question really falls to, can food be produced at such low a gravity? Can we grow shit there? If we can, the next step becomes managing the tendency of closed systems to overdevelop an invasive species, mold, rats, things like that. That's going to be the problem. Roaches.
Hey, I saw The Martian. All you've got to do is shit on your potatoes. Job done.
Mars has more gravity, bro. We can't come back from there either, but
Mars has, as negligible as it is, Mars actually does have an atmosphere.
Yeah, it's not much to it, but it is there, and you can technically live in a pup tent on Mars, kind of.
The valuable part of the Martian atmosphere got burned away by its lack of effective magnetosphere
and the lack of gravity.
That's why the Martians live underground.
Did you hear Elon Musk's idea for making Mars genuinely terraformable?
First of all, Elon Musk, I think, has
what did he say?
I like Elon Musk sometimes, but he is blinded by Mars. He is fucking blinded by Mars. He is not talking about the problems that have to be overcome. He's just saying, oh, we can do all this cool stuff. I was like, yeah, but you got to get past the fucking hurdles to do it.
Yeah.
Because he's an autistic child.
Yeah, I mean, I love Total Recall too. But, let's calm down with the Mars bullshit, yeah? His plan was to nuke the poles.
Yeah, that's...
to liquefy the water.
All of the water vapor into the atmosphere, right? The thing is
he literally just watched Total Recall.
It's gonna fucking bleed off. It's not gonna fucking stick around.
Of course not. It's not gonna work.
Let's also say that it does stick around. The fact that there's no magnetosphere means it's like you're not going to solve the radiation part. Like that, you're still going to get cooked to death. You'll just have some water to go with it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Also, Sam.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to get there, but we were still talking. So shut up for a second. Sasquatch, you got to go.
Yeah, bro. I'm fixing to. Unless you're going to end it real soon, I'm going to drop my.
We are. Yeah, we're going to.
Okay, all right.
Bring it to a close here, so.
Right after this show, like 2 seconds from now, it's already started. I have a live stream going on over there. It is Ajot's birthday, and we're ringing her in a brand new year. So after when he finishes doing the thing, anybody still in chat will be transferred over to my chat on that end.
Indeed.
Beyond that, I really don't know what or who or where I'm going to be this week because Captain Curmudgeon said he might not be doing the Sunday show, and he didn't do it last week, so I don't know. Ajot's doing the show tonight, so I don't know if we'll be doing it Tuesday, and I can't get a solid answer out of the two guys I was talking to for Thursday, so I got nothing. Come on over to the other show and send me some money. I might even start here.
Good deal. Yeah, let's go ahead and wrap up the show here. It's a good place as any. We're just devolving into arguments about the viability of Mars anyway. Shadow, what do you got coming up? Where are you gonna be? What are you doing?
Pretty much just hanging out. If I can hang out with you, that's about it. That's really the only stream I'm on. I am, however, going to take this opportunity to shill for my buddy Ice again, like I did last time I was on here, because his last piece of artwork came out, and it was a freaking banger. And he's actually currently working on something even better. He's got his guy working on something even better, being like a full-on fortress siege with his killdozer and a bunch of raptor riding lunatics. So I just shared that over here. The art piece he's got. It's currently redlined. This is the current next project he's got going. It's still in this is inked down and kind of planned, but within the next month it should be out. It's for his post-apocalyptic far future setting, which is basically just a bunch of cool science fiction tropes in America. Fuck yeah, raging on in the background.
Well, if you got links for it that you want to show, go ahead and pop them in the chat.
I'm doing that right now. If you want to show him some support, here is the coffee page where you can toss. I need to. Hold on, that's the wrong tab. Here over in Sam's chat. That is his coffee page. You can also, if you don't want to donate yet, you can read up on the setting, the various factions, why the world's the way it is, some of the characters that he's got planned out. I mean, we're always bitching about how bad Disney is. We're always bitching about how bad Warner Brothers has gotten. But, I mean, if we're not making new stuff to replace them, that's kind of just farting in the wind. So this is a great opportunity to put some money where the mouth is and support the Iron Age. And, yeah, that's what I got.
Okay. Thanks for coming, kid. Abe, what do you got coming
up? Well, tomorrow I'm going to die and then get resurrected. Tuesday, I'm going to be doing Team Play Tuesday with Tomby and a whole bunch of friends. Straight after that, I'll be doing the Jack and Abe show. Then on Wednesday, I've got the Hump Day Chinwag. Thursday, I'll be recording more Stargate review episodes with the full Aussie people. And I'll be doing the same again on Friday. And then Friday going through to Saturday, I'm going to be on Rockefeller Plaza's channel from 1 a.m. my time, Saturday. Then the usual 4:30 a.m. for me, back on Sam's channel. 7 a.m. I'll be back on Beelzebub. Then round about 12, I'll be on the Full Aussie podcast. Then I'll be back for Anime After Dark. A couple hours after that. Then I'll be straight back here.
It's a lot of shit, man. That is a lot of shit. Like one of these days, we're just going to have you like write it all down and then change your avatar to the list.
Yeah, it's going to be easier.
So
save everyone a lot of time.
Yeah. All right. So as far as myself is concerned, next thing up, I will be over on Exiled Linus 2. That'll be a couple hours from now over on her channel, Amir's channel. She's doing a show tonight. So I'll be helping out over there. After that, I'm probably going to do a Wuchang stream just because I really want to get back into it. And then I don't know how Monday's going to go, whether Adam's planning on doing a show this week or not, since he foolishly canceled last week's for no reason, as it turns out. But we may or may not be on the Renaissance Nerds channel for Mellow Mondays. I don't know if that's going to happen this week or not. So it's kind of up in the air. Otherwise, lots of game streams next week, probably. Abyssal Musings on Friday. Beelzebub after that, and right back here for more Screaming into the Void, where we talk about whatever the hell we feel like. Thanks for coming, folks. Thanks to the panel. Thanks to everybody in chat. I'm going to go ahead and end the show now. Appreciate all of you. And remember, it could always be worse. Have a great night. We'll see y'all later.